You get more out of life when you go out to a movie.
Hey guys, Dave Darren here. We've got 6 minutes till showtime, but let me come on here real quick and tell you guys, you got to share today's show, because tonight's show, if you share it, if you hate me, tonight is going to be the night you want to share it, because you're going to get a lot of people that are going to probably unsubscribe to my channel and unfriend me. So if you don't like me, tonight's your opportunity to promote the hell out of this show so people forget all about me and get rid of me and block me. So if that's your motivation, share tonight's show, because we're going to talk about shit that's going to get you guys pissed, all right? So show airs in 6 minutes. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're talking about a lot of, it's almost like the Rocky move. Remember, Mr. T, you got a lot of mo for you. Got a lot of mo. We're going to have a lot more when we come back. I'm going to play some music, even though I don't feel like playing music because I'm not in a musical mood, because shit is hitting the fan. But a little bit of music, and then we're going to come back at the very top of the hour We're going to take your calls at 480-236-2111 or 609-467-4000. Whatever number you feel like calling. I'm putting my corporate number on these shows now along with my regular number. So be ready to call tonight's show. Hang on, a little bit of music, and we're going to come back, and we are going to rock and roll some topics that are going to make your head spin and your rocks roll in your pants. We'll be back after some music here, guys.
You and me, we rest upon the stars, and all the world is ours. Oh, oh. 2 or 3, surrender to your knees and blow me in the breeze. But don't expect my love. Don't expect my love. Don't expect my love. No, no. So don't expect my love. You and me, we could have made it far. You should have walked me to the car, but no. Now I see that you want to follow me, but you sent it off to sea when you left me hanging. Don't expect my love. No, no. Don't expect my love. You don't get my love. So don't expect my love, 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 love. Should've known better with a fool like you that I would love everything you do, but you've been treating me wrong. Should've known better than to fall for you, that it would kill all the love I knew. You broke my favorite CD, and I wanna go home, home, home. Don't expect my love. Don't expect my love. Don't expect it, don't expect it, don't expect it, babe. Don't get my love. Don't expect my love, love. Love, 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 love.
Hey guys, we still got 2 minutes. I don't want to start early because I want everyone to rock and roll and be on tonight's show. Tonight's show, as I mentioned, share tonight's show, because if you know people that hate people like me, then you'll watch, share the show so that they see me and they block me so they never have to witness this fiasco of a show again, because a lot of people are going to get pissed at me tonight for sure. Another piece of music before the show begins so you guys are ready to tune in. This is Chemicals of Democracy. The title of this, and this is not for you guys, but the title of it happens to be called You Suck. Here we go. Little piece of music, and we'll be back to rock and roll this show in about a minute and a half.
What I have to breathe, my oxygen.
Okay, guys, I interrupted that song. I don't know how to fade it out on that particular piece of software I'm using, so I am with you guys right now. We're rapping and rolling. Let me make sure I turn the volume down so it's not overwhelming you guys right now, because I know I shout a lot and I'm noisy and I'm loud and I'm obnoxious like everyone else is in the East Coast. You button my shirt here so you guys aren't flashed with nice looking breasts. So let me talk to you guys about something. Today I took a lot of heat for something that I said, not only on this Ring app. This Ring app you can upload on your smartphone or your iPhone or your Android, whatever. There's a thing, and I'll explain it to you. And I took a lot of heat off Facebook. Now, I do a show where I am really ready to take heat. I don't mind taking heat, because if I have to be the only guy that tells you the way the fuck it is, then I'm going to be the guy that is going to come at you and tell you what shit is going down, all right? So let me explain it, and I'll tell you what I said, which really got people pissed. I got a lot of people really pissed with this topic. First of all, I'll explain to you how it happened. There's this Ring device. You know what Ring device are? You see them on TV. It's the push button, at your front door, you get the doorbell. You push the doorbell, and then the person who has the cell phone, or they're in the house, they can see who's at the front door. So they can get rid of telemarketers. They can get rid of the front door salespeople. They can get rid of the Mormons at the front door, the Jehovah's Witnesses people. They can get rid of them all, even if they're in Japan. They'll be able to see that the doorbell rang, and they'll be able to see who it is, and they'll be able to talk to them. It's a safety thing. It's home security with video, all right? So they also have the Ring device, actually has a Ring app. Not only to utilize it so you can see who's at the front door, or there's also the Ring devices that are motion sensors with video within the house. So it's not even the doorbell. It goes beyond that. You can actually turn on a security light. You can actually talk to people in the home. It's pretty advanced. Now, they also have an app that also supports something else, and that is within a 3-mile radius, I believe it is. People can get on the app and share what's going on in their neighborhood. They can say, like, there's a suspicious guy who's been ringing doorbells, a suspicious guy that's driving around in his car. There's a suspicious person out there who's just shouldn't be. You get the idea, right? Suspicious people that can be marketed and told about within their 3-mile radius on this Ring app. People utilize it for great things and for some stupid shit things as well. Like they leave here's one. They leave their garage doors open, and then someone goes in their garage and rips them off. You know what? Get city smart and close your garage door so that somebody is not tempted so that you're not being the victim of someone tempted because you were the stupid ass that left your garage door open. You see all these things all the time on this Ring app. People say, my garage was vandalized. Their stuff was stolen out of the garage. Why? Because the garage door was open. If you're going to get criminals running around, who are they going to go after first? The person's made themselves the identification of a victim, all right? So don't be stupid shits, all right? So I'll tell you what got me in trouble specifically yesterday. So yesterday, because of all the coronavirus thing, and because of the schools now being closed down on Monday, everyone's on this Ring device within my 3-mile neighborhood. And this got a lot of comments, because the Ring device, when you put something out there, is the person that starts the thread on the Ring device. A lot of people can comment, all right? So I made a comment about this. So what they said is, the schools are closed on Monday. My God, how is my child going to eat lunch? That's what they said. Oh my God, the schools are closed. How is my child now going to eat lunch? So I got on there and I said, you know what, you guys, if you guys have not prepared your lives so that you can give your child lunch when he doesn't have a means to get it by going to school, then aren't you guys lame parents? Now let me explain this to you. I took notes tonight because I thought I want to be on topic about everything I talked to tonight. So you know what? This is what I said. Lunch for kids. This is the thing. Lunch for kids because schools are closed down. You know, we're not talking about, what did I put here? We're not talking about cars for 16-year-old kids. We're not talking about fancy Robert Graham shirts that I happen to wear all the time, which are like $299. We're not talking about kids that want that. We're not talking about kids that want the electrical bikes that you see them, where they don't even have to pedal their asses anymore, so they can gain weight and be 200 and 300-pound 12-year-old kids on a bicycle. Now they're all on bicycles where you don't even have to pedal the shit anymore. You're on the bike with an electrical motor on it, so you can be a lazy ass on your bike that your parents are giving to you to become lazy, bloated, over obese kids, all right? So, I told you I'm not going to be nice tonight. In fact, I'm usually seldom nice, all right? We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about lunch for your child. Lunch, a basic necessity for your child is what? Lunch. Preparing them lunch. How expensive is that? And then I got someone that made a comment, and a very aggressive comment about how about all of the parents, whether they be single or two parents, and they work in a McDonald's at minimum wage. Have you no compassion for those people? Dave, have you no compassion for people that are working at a minimum age? You know what? Let me say this. If you're working at a McDonald's at a minimum wage job, don't you think before you have a child, you should think in your mind, okay, I'm at this minimum wage job. I know how much I make. It's pretty pathetic. I can barely live on it on my own. So don't you think they should have plans, goals, incentives to get their asses out of that McDonald's before they start sticking their McDick inside of special sauce into that fillet of fish vagina? How's that for some comedy? How's that? Don't you think that anyone that's working at McDonald's that's thinking about having a child at that minimum wage job, don't you think they should consider how they unzip their pants or release their McDick and the special sauce into that filet o fish vagina? Don't you think so? Don't you think that's common sense? And I got to tell you something as well. Well, for these people that are working at McDonald's, have a plan. Decide, okay, am I college material? Can I afford college? College is obviously out of the realm of people's ability to go to college. How about a trade school? How about learning something that's going to get your ass out of that McDonald's into at least a trade? Plumber, electrician, air conditioning, HVAC guy. How about automotive mechanic, motorcycle mechanic? A mechanic so that all of you lame asses that have electric bikes, instead of the ones that you pedal, there's a guy there who knows how to fix those electric bikes. How about that for a trade, all right? How about picking up a trade so you can get your ass out of McDonald's before you start pumping babies out? It's like, what did I write down here? It's like, I wrote these stuff. It's like you're popping babies out as often as you're popping boners in your pants. That's what you're doing. You guys are popping babies out more than you're popping boners in your pants. So I can rip this one up because I talked about it already. I talked about lunch for kids, but I got more to talk about on that. When we're talking about lunch for kids, and all these people are like crybabies about how am I going to feed my kid lunch? You know why? It sounds like you guys are babies. So how about going back to breastfeeding your kids, all right? Breastfeed them during lunch, all right? Because you guys are all big babies. All of you parents that have not figured out a means to be able to support yourselves, and then you still bring babies into your lives. Let me say this. Before my wife and I adopted a dog, we decided, okay, now, are we in an apartment right now where if we have to move to another apartment, are they going to allow pets? We considered that, although when I married my wife, we already had a house, so we didn't have the apartment consideration. But we did consider, okay, Dave and his wife, can we adopt a pet? Because obviously there's a price for food for the dog. There's a price for the things you have to give the dog to prevent it from getting a variety of things like valley fever. You get all these vaccines for dogs, you get rabies shots and all that. The price of a vet. We did more to consider when we were ready to adopt a pet more than fucking people are considering, are they ready to have a child? So if you consider all these people on this Ring device and all these people hostile about me on Facebook for dare saying, if you parents don't have money to feed your child lunch, what kind of parents were you? Everyone's saying, Dave, no compassion. You know what? When you're thinking about having a baby, aren't you supposed to be thinking about the compassion you have for that child that you love to be able to make their lives a little bit less traumatic, a little bit stressed because they can't eat their next meal? Don't you think you better be more loving and considerate in that aspect of how you're going to support them before you start busting on my ass? And I said that because I'm the only fucking guy who'll come out there and say that to you guys directly. Honestly, I considered more situations for our adopted dog than people who are working at minimum wage, who are satisfied to be at minimum wage. By the way, if you're satisfied to be working at minimum wage for the rest of your friggin' lives, then you know what? Be satisfied with that, but maybe don't have a baby that when you have that baby and you can't support him, then you start dipping your hands in everyone's pocket because you can't support him. So then you need all these social programs to support that child, and you come crying to us when you made no incentive on your own, no goal, no plan to figure out how can you afford that kid. When actually I made more of a conscious effort to deciding how I can afford to adopt a pet. I was more caring to our dog than you guys were with your children, my God. Unfucking believable. I gotta really say that. And I gotta say that in all honesty. And I gotta say in all honesty, some of you guys are gonna be really pissed at me for saying that. And you're probably gonna unfriend me, block me, or get out of my Facebook group. And you know what? If I have to be the only guy out there who comes on and tells you the way shit really is, then maybe I better be the guy that does that, to wake some people the fuck up. Because if you're not preparing for issues that are going to occur in your lives, you're going to have ups and downs in your lives, no matter who you are, no matter what financial means you've got, you are going to reach a level of better success, and then you're going to suffer a drought. How do you survive that drought? You plan on you got to plan almost like on a worst case scenario. You got to figure that shit out. And if it impacts another human being, you, your wife, and your children, don't you think you better think a little more thoroughly about that versus an idiot like me that's focused on even adopting a dog and what it takes to adopt a dog in terms of food, veterinarians, and all of that stuff? And you guys are just having babies, popping them out like you're popping boners in your pants without thinking about the fact that someday maybe schools are going to be closed for like actually in the East Coast we have like hurricanes, we have monsoons, we have all that shit where your kid might have to be off from school for like 3 or 4 days. You mean to tell me you guys are not going to be able to feed your child for 3 or 4 days, but you gotta come to neighbors and ask them to feed your children? Isn't that a sad position to be at? That you had control over before you took your McDick out of your pants and stuck it into a fillet of fish vagina and spewed your special sauce? Don't you think you better get your asses a little bit more planned? Because you know what? Life is not easy. And some of you guys think that life is easy because you got all these social programs to fall back on where people are going to take care of your asses. I'll tell you, when the shit hits the fan, and when shit hits the fan like it could with this coronavirus, although I don't think this is the one that's going to make us pay a big penalty for the stupidity that we've had and the stupidity of lack of planning. I don't think this is going to be the one, but I got to say within the next 30 years, I believe something is going to traumatically affect this planet, this country, and other countries where we're going to start having to defend ourselves, all right? So the bullshit you guys have now with your lax attitudes, your lack of preparation is pathetic. You better put your asses in gear because you're going to suffer a consequence. Everything you do has an effect. What's it called? Cause and effect, right? Next topic, and then I'm going to take calls if anyone wants to call. And I don't really mind if no one calls. We got, so here we go. Next topic, millennials. The real word is millennials. I don't even know how to pronounce it anymore because I call them millennials, all right? Today I'm watching the president talking to the public, all right? Now, this is what I got to say about the president. Whether you liked him or not, is he handling this situation well? I happen to think he is. You don't see him as the front man and everyone else vanished with just him talking to the public. You see a group of people behind him, 6 or 7 people behind him that can be asked questions. He's taking questions from the media, and the media can address him. They can address anyone that's up on stage, any of the 6 or 7 or 8 people that are up there. Anyone can take a question. He's shared the mic with anyone. People from the media can even pose a question, not even to Trump, just another person, and that person comes on the mic and they're talking. He has set up the appropriate people, the professionals, to handle this situation as best as it could be handled. You get these people saying, Trump, are you taking personal responsibility for what's going on? You know what? Fuck that question. He's gathered all of the people together to deal with this as a situation that has not occurred, all right? Now, you may talk about polio. You may talk about some of the pneumonia from way back where a lot of people died. You can talk about that, but in modern times, this hasn't happened. They braced themselves for the for the epidemic or pandemic that has been on a lesser scale than this, all right? So he's there fielding questions. He seems like he's got a handle on it as best a handle could be had. If you hate this guy, then you know what? Do you down him for this, or do you think, okay, the guy is there, he's talking to us, he talked to us, what, yesterday and today? He's got the people behind him to field question. He's doing as good a job as he's capable of doing. You get people that question him, has he been tested? You know what? Fuck that. Let's talk about the specifics of the virus, all right? Millennials, one of the points brought up was millennials have to be able to handle their responsibilities. And what are their responsibilities? Are their responsibilities just to their isolated generation? Or do they care at all about the generations that preceded them? You know, it's ironic that I had on, I did a show where I had that guy, Dick Groinpain on. I don't even use his real name now because he's a waste of time to even bring up his real name. Dick Groinpain and I did battle. He's evidently a millennial, or he's maybe not a millennial, but what's the next Generation X? I don't even keep in touch with it. And he's criticizing boomers. The guy evidently doesn't like boomers, doesn't respect boomers, baby boomers, all right? That's the long term of it. And here's a guy that seems like he doesn't give a fuck about us. He would just like us to leave the planet and be buried 6 feet under. And now some of the people on social media are calling this the boomer remover. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that a hostile thing to say? When you really think about it, the devices that you're using right now, when you get into your car, who created the first automobile? Was it the millennials or was it the generations before you guys? Television and computers. Who created that shit that you use? And you don't create it. You utilize the tools that we gave you. You are not creating a laptop. You are not creating a desktop. You're not creating automobiles. These are created, the inception, the patents, the patents on those products are all secured by generations before you guys. The cell phones you guys are using, you're so proud to be good at cell phones. Did you create this piece of equipment? Did you create this piece of hardware? Did you create the software that operates behind it called the operating system? Did you create that, or are you so proud that you download apps from the App Store and load them on your cell phone, making you the genius of this device? You're the genius of using this shit, but you are not the genius. I'm not taking calls right now until I tell you it's time. Plus, this call pops up as unknown. Probably a millennial that's calling up to complain about my show. And if you're calling up, you know what? Dial from a phone number. Don't give me this fucking unknown. Dial from your phone number so that if I don't like who you are or the comments that you make, I can take your phone number and I can block it, all right? Have some balls, all right? Have some guts and give your real phone number out instead of the bullshit thing you give me with this unknown. Or I don't need unknown callers. I need people that are going to be confrontational with me if you don't like me or bring up other points that I'm missing, all right? Don't be the lame guy that pops up with unknown, unwilling to share with me who the fuck you are. Be a stand-up guy. Tell me who you are. Give me your real phone number. I'm not going to share with anyone unless you give me bullshit. If you give me bullshit and you give me your real phone number, you know what? I probably will type it on the screen and say, here's a douchebag. Let's all bombard him with phone calls, all right? Millennials, let me get back to that topic. Millennials, are you guys really going to care about us? It seems to me when you call us out as this disease is a boomer remover, it seems like you don't give a fuck about us. And in fact, I got to tell you something. It seems like the lack of respect that you guys have for your older generations is lacking. Let's take this phone call here, and then I'll get back to my spiel. This call's coming in with a legitimate phone number. Let's take the call. This is Dave Darren on the Dave Darren Show. Please tell us your first name and where you're coming from. I'd like to talk to you.
Yes, my name's Melanie, and I'm from Pennsylvania. And I wanted to talk about the whole coronavirus thing. I think that you are an angry, sweaty boomer.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Okay.
there's no doubt about it. I mean, you're ugly as fuck. I think you're watching
All right,
this
so
show.
now, you know what I like to do. You know what I like to do right now is give out your phone number because you called up to try to humiliate me. This person.
Oh, no. I just wanted to tell you how ugly you were.
Oh,
You're
okay.
ugly
So
as
this
fuck.
this phone number for
And
the
you're a
person.
boomer.
Okay,
You're
so
sweaty. You're a sweaty boomer.
okay, so this person that called me up is it the phone number of, and I'm going to type it in here because this was a real douchebag person who just felt like calling in to complain about the show and call me an ugly boomer. So this person that called up is at 267-467-0519, and I am typing it. Let me make sure I get it right. 267-467-0519. And there we go, is a person who tried to come on as a heckler and a troll and call me a boomer, which, by the way, I'm proud to be a boomer. I told you guys I am proud to be a boomer because I am one of the people who's worked in the industry, worked creating software, created hardware, by the way. I used to work where we used to create, you know, the devices you got now where you have all this electronic stuff. I talked about the Ring device where now you have video control of your home security system. I'm one of the guys that worked at this company called Partridge and Wilkins, where I actually made the printed circuit boards for security systems. And the way you etch the printed circuit board is you have a screen that you put on the board and you dip it in acid, like this woman probably thinks that my face was dipped in acid because she thinks I'm ugly, like my face has been in acid. Little comedy there. But you take the board and you dip it in acid, and this part of the circuit board, that screen is not eaten away by the acid. The only parts that are eaten away by the acid are the actual etchings on the board, which is where the printed circuits form the display of that spider effect of where you put the actual components on the board. I would actually drill holes to put the components on the printed circuit board that I actually manufactured. There's a guy, there's a boomer who's actually did shit, who actually created a mechanical device, an electrical component, a piece of hardware, and a piece of software where you millennials tend to think that you're so sophisticated because you know how to use this piece of equipment. You know how to use it. You know how to take a picture of your ass eating a hamburger at a McDonald's when you don't know how at all this piece of equipment works. You've got no idea. You are users. And actually, you guys are really users and abusers. Now, here I am talking about millennials. And so I got to say this. I got to say that our millennials, now, when I watched the president's speech today and all the people behind him, someone asked a question about millennials' role in overcoming the criticalness of this virus and protecting the people of older generations of 60s, 70s, and 80s. Will they do it? And there was somewhat of an optimistic. I'm thinking about something else to talk about after this. And it just slipped my mind. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it. All right, because I've got Alzheimer's, right? People probably think I've got more brains in my head now than most people have in their 30s. I'm pretty with it, guys. If you don't think anything else of me, you got to think I'm pretty fucking sharp. And I am pretty sharp. And I'm also a guy that tells you shit that's really happened rather than total bullshit that you get basically from the media and from previous presidents. You're satisfied with bullshit. And I'm one of the guys that's not satisfied with bullshit. And I don't want to hear bullshit. I want to hear a guy like me telling me the way it is. Whether I like it or not, at least I know where the fuck I stand, all right? So millennials, are they willing to take on the support of their 60, 70-year... I don't see it. I don't see morals of these guys. I don't see work ethics of these guys. Unknown caller. Let's see who it is. Unknown caller. You're calling right now. Why have you blocked your number? I'm curious. Why did you block your number? Why don't I know who you are?
Killer?
Yeah.
My number's just private by default.
All right. Well, then I'm going to hang up on you by default. Fuck it. I want to take people that are willing to share their number. Because if you don't give a contribution to this show, and you are not a legitimate caller who has the balls to call up the show, if you're a legitimate caller and you want to bring up a topic, even if you disagree with me, you're calling back again. I hung up on you, and there's a reason I hung up on you is because I want someone to have the balls.
My number's 82. Can you? I'll tell you my number, but don't put me on the air.
All right. Well, then okay. So I'm gonna let you get away with that. What would you like to talk about? You got your number blocked, which pisses me off. But don't share your number because you're on the air right now. So tell me.
Yeah, it's a long household line, so we just kind of keep that.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, if you want, I can just send you an email. I was thinking earlier today. I had to go down to Walmart actually because I've been working on my garage and I actually needed a wrench because the one I have is a piece of garbage. But I mean, did you want to talk about all the people fighting right now? We had a police officer protecting the toilet paper aisle, the household cleaning aisle. There was police officers there today to try to stop the people from fighting.
I believe it. I do believe it. And it's funny that you say that because my wife went out today and she dared to buy 3 items of something. And it wasn't even toilet paper. And by the way, she went to the store and there were almost no products. There were no paper products. I don't even think there was no meat in there. Now, we happen to be vegetarians, so we don't care about that. But there was no meat. There was nothing in the store. I think she went to one store. She picked up 3 items, and some guy is looking at her with a nasty face. So she gave the guy...
Yeah. They want to kick your ass for buying toilet paper. Oh, no.
Yeah, so she gave the guy one of the items.
One more thing, because I actually got to head out of here real quick.
Okay.
I'm just kind of listening to you on the road. I was hoping maybe you could expand on, now, the people are acting this way because of the virus, right?
Right.
And everyone's going out and fighting and being crazy. I mean, I've even heard stories about people breaking into places even.
Uh-huh.
What do you think would happen if our government would, throughout this quarantine, maybe disclose information about UFOs and aliens?
What do I think about that?
If the people act this way when we're supposed to be cooperating together to deal with a threat, I guarantee that if the government would spill any of that information, people would be killing each other in the streets.
Well, why distract from the topic of importance and go into UFOs and paranormal, even if UFOs have been here for a long time? Why distract from something that's pretty important now with something else that might be important to a select group of people, but why deflect to something else? Why not just deal with this? And unless you want...
Well, I don't know. I've been talking to some sources, and they're saying that there was some stuff going on with the government involving that sort of disclosure project, and that they're sort of blowing this thing out of proportion right now to distract the public from disclosure.
Well, that could always be true. How much do you trust the government? How much do you not trust the government? That's a question you got to ask yourself.
It's very hard to trust the government because it's ran by a bunch of no-good, smelly boomers.
Oh, okay, there we go. See, I knew we would deal with that eventually. So, you know what? I took the risk of that call, which I was going to hang up on him. But, so what sense did the guy make? The guy did make, it's funny, the guy did make one sensical comment. And that people in supermarkets, probably grocery stores, either there's fights breaking out now. I believe that there probably is policemen in some of these stores, whether they're policemen that are showing that they're police or undercover. They probably should be there as not undercover, but be really policemen in uniform so that it's discouraging hostility in these places that people are shopping. If you think about it, how often are they got these sales and they got like the Christmas sales and everyone is at the front door at 4 o'clock in the morning, door opens at 6 o'clock, and they're all in there tripping over each other for a Christmas item. You can be sure that now or tomorrow or the next day or 3 days ago, there are people in there, depending on where you live and the hostility in that neighborhood and the violence of that neighborhood that's typical of that neighborhood, you can believe that there is or has been or will be violence occurring. So the caller was rambling on me, trying to stir up bullshit with me, obviously. But he does bring up a point that hostilities are going to occur. So let's see, where was I? I was talking about millennials and them taking on the responsibility of helping out. So there's a guy right there who obviously doesn't give a fuck about boomers at all. He just cares about himself and his generation. And are we going to rely on this of the new generations to take care of some of the 60-year-olds who are not in the physical shape I am and the mental capacity I have to take care of myself? There's probably 60 years old out there, 60, 61, 62-year-old guys who have not taken care of themselves. They're 600 pounds. My wife watches this TV show, My 600-Pound Life. You think they're living healthy? Do you think they have an ability to take care of themselves? You think that they need their family of the younger generations to take care of their asses at 600 pounds that they should have never gotten to that degree to begin with, but they happen to be there now. So who's going to support them? Who's going to go to the store and buy them food to support them with 700 calories a day to maintain that 600-pound body? Is a millennial going to do that, or is a millennial just going to abandon their big round asses and say, you know what, you're on your own? mom, dad, grandparent. You're on your own now. I see millennials as being that selfish, that unmotivated to help, that immoral, that lack of integrity, that lack of work ethic, which we see that all the time, a lack of a work ethic. They go there and they want... So I've got another caller now. Let's take this other caller. I think this is Terry. Terry, what's going on? You're on the Dave Darren Show. What do you got to say?
I'm going to say hi, Dave. How are you?
All right. Well, obviously,
Hey,
I'm up in arms tonight. I'm pissed. I'm angry. I've got hatred.
I know you are.
So,
I know you are. But what I have to say is, when you come on this afternoon and the president come on, I like that you said stop the show. Because the president, I feel, and you know how I feel about Donald Trump.
right.
I think he's doing a wonderful, wonderful job. I think he's right out there every day. And well, that's what people need. They need comfort from their leaders. And he's the leader of the country. So I want to give 3 cheers for Donald Trump. I mean, there's no Democrat that I would vote for that is running. So, does that make you feel any better, honey?
Well, yeah, but I want to really talk about the topic tonight. So what did you think about... Now, I know that you're a person that doesn't have any children, and I don't either. So what do you think about... What do you think about my initial topic? Were you on for the beginning of the program?
I know exactly what you're saying, Dave, because, I work with children whose parents, they have parents, but the parents can't afford to take care of them, so the children are in orphanages, in an orphanage.
Right.
And the parents will come sometimes on the weekend and, bring them a little treat and just spend a couple of hours until either the mother or the father or both of them find a job.
Right.
These kids are in an orphanage because of that.
All right, we have another call at the same time as you, so I'm going to keep you on at the same time and overlap you guys so you can talk to each other. Let's bring this other caller in, okay? Oh, we lost him. He hung up. So I lost Terry, I guess. This is Dave Darren on the Dave Darren Show. You were calling in right now to the show. What would you like to talk about?
I was just curious. Was Henry Ford a boomer?
This is evidently Richard Groper, who is, I call you, by the way, Dick Groin Pain, if you knew that or not. That's the nickname I got for you. By the way, do you think my name is creative? Because I'm a boomer that's obviously trying to be creative. Do you think my nickname for you is creative? What do you think? Do you like the nickname? Would you like me to print out business cards with your nickname on them and send them over to you? I would like to mail them to you if you like. What do you think?
That would be fine by me.
That would. Now, why was there the little gap right here? Like I asked you a question, there was a 3 or 4 second gap. Do you have your mental faculties with you, where you can have an intelligent conversation with me, or are there going to be a lot of gaps because you're thinking about stuff that you don't really have the wit and intelligence to carry on a conversation with me? Would you like to attempt it?
Yes, I would.
Another
I
gap.
will try.
Another gap of 3 seconds. Let's try to have less gaps here. So, what did you think about my critique of millennials, or millennials as I refer to you guys? What do you think about that?
I think you're an angry shit boomer,
All right.
and that's okay.
Uh-huh.
That's okay.
All right. Okay.
I forgive you for that.
Well, I don't want to be forgiven. I don't want to be forgiven for anything I
You will
said.
die from the coronavirus,
All right.
and I will inherit everything that you're cheating.
All right, so I hung up on him because I didn't feel like dealing with that bullshit. All right, that is, by the way, for you guys who don't know, that is, I think the voice identified is Richard Groper, who I call, and by the way, you guys should refer to him if he ever calls into the show as Dick Groin Pain. So there's the guy calling in, Dick Groin Pain on the Dave Darren Show, a total douchebag because he calls up just to be off topic. And I don't know why anyone would do that, which is kind of stupid. At least if you call in, at least if you want to critique me, then that's fine. I don't expect to be agreed upon by everyone. I know some people have a very different perspective than I do. If you don't agree with it, then don't agree with it. And come on the show and disagree with it. Have a debate with me, have an argument with me, but stay on fucking points. All right? Don't be lame. Don't be stupid. Don't be pathetic. have a debate with me and discuss it with me when you don't like what I say. What's the point in calling me a boomer? When I'm calling you guys out is the lame guys because you don't respect the people that have created these products for you guys that you are using right now to call up the Dave Darren Show. You're utilizing a phone, which I'm sure Dick Groinpain has no idea how to even open up the fucking thing. He has no idea if he has to change the battery in it. He has no idea how to do that. He has no idea how to open it up and change the broken screen that he broke because his fat ass sat on it. And I already talked about how out of shape this dude is at the very age that he's in, where he should be in better shape than I am, and I'm in better shape than he is at double his age. When he sits on his phone and he cracks the screen on his cracked ass, he has no idea how to open the thing up and replace the screen. And I do. So forget that one. So we were talking about millennials and the fact that I don't think they're going to contribute to the success of keeping people alive on this planet unless they're just late millennials. And ironically, millennials are less susceptible to this virus than the older people are, because the older people have succumbed to potentially cancer treatments. They've succumbed to heart diseases and stuff like that, so they are more fragile. If you get the millennials who don't give a crap about them, then of course that part of the population is going to be the boomers removed, and that's what this is called. Boomer removal virus. That's what it's called by the millennials. Do you appreciate that, or do you think these guys are really lame people who are showing their true colors at this point in their lives? Let me take a little drink here. Hang on one second. Another thing I'm going to bring up, Terry, I lost you somehow. I don't know. I tried to bring in that caller in parallel to you, and Terry hung up, or somehow I lost your call. But give me a couple minutes, then Terry, if you want to call up, or if anyone else wants to call, phone number on the screen is 480-236-2111. Or if you feel like calling my corporate number, which I've set up now for the music show, it's 609-467-4000. All right? What boomer, what millennial would even think about getting a decent kick-ass phone number for the benefit of his program? All right? Next topic. You know, they say that, you know, the 60-year-olds, the 70-year-olds, they're more liable to succumb to this virus for a variety of reasons. Now, they said that smoking is dangerous because this is evidently a virus that affects the lungs. So if you smoke, maybe you better stop smoking. Maybe you better go cold turkey on that smoking. Maybe you better start eating a little bit better, because it all does revolve around your physical health. Thank God for a lot of years I've been living, I've maintained a good physical attitude, a good physical importing of good food products into my body to keep me healthy. I even, if you guys remember, about 7 months ago, or almost a year now, I said I want to start kicking ass working out to get to the level of fitness I had when I was in my 30s, because I was slacking a bit too. Recently, I've been putting on, especially the last 3 weeks, I have been really kicking ass with working out. I've been pushing myself to the limits where it might even be dangerous. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limits that I am so depreciated of energy that I'm then vulnerable to a virus that might inherit my body because I've depleted it of its natural immunity because I've been pushing myself too much. That's the risk I've been taking. But I got to tell you guys, if you're like my wife watches that My 600-Pound Life, I don't even know if that show is going to exist anymore, because these 600-pound people, how are they going to afford to go? How are they going to go and get 7,000 calories to keep their body at 600 pounds? How are they going to do that? That show may go out of business because people at 600 pounds, even though that doctor now is telling them to lose weight, and they don't do it, they're going to have to do it now because they don't have enough food to pump in their mouths. So that show may go out of business. Who knows? But another thing is, if you're overweight, you better get your ass into better shape, because it all evolves around your basic immunity system. How strong is your immunity system? How have you treated your body over all of these years to have a natural immunity system? You better start doing things in your life. If it's too late for this virus, once this virus dissipates, and I think it will, I don't think it's going to take out a huge amount of people. I think the next one, or the one after that, is going to be the one that's really going to test us. So I think if you got to get ready right now, you better get ready in a certain amount of ways. First of all, you better get ready with a plan to get your body in better shape. You better start doing something. Walk. I mean, it's funny. My wife always says that people around our neighborhood, they got dogs. You can hear them barking because when Willie, our dog, our shepherd, walks past the house, you can hear the dog in the house who smelled Willie walking past the front of the house, and it starts barking. We hear that barking every time because people are too fucking lazy to take the dog out on a walk. We don't see any of our neighbors walking their dog around. Not only do I work out an hour and a half to 2 hours every day with aerobics and weights and working out with weights of fitness, not only do I do that for 2 hours a day, and I take 1 day break, that's all. I'm doing it 6 days a week. On top of that, I walk our dog 1.5 hours on top of that. So 3.5 hours I am doing a significant level of fitness, along with my wife as well. Not just me, she's doing it. So I don't see anyone else doing that to keep themselves fit. I don't see people, and the people that are out of shape in stores whose immunity system is fucking wrecked, you see them buying soda, potato chips, all the bullshit that you should not be putting in your body, not only to maintain your health today, but to be able to maintain your health once a virus like this contributes to invading your body. Terry, you're back. I lost you somehow. I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, I didn't hear a word you have been talking about for 5 minutes anyway.
Okay, so I have another call that's unknown. I'm not going to take that caller because I want to talk to you. I want to make sure you get an opportunity. Plus, anyone that calls with unknown, fuck them. They should be calling with their real phone number. Screw them. All right, so let's talk to you, Terry. What do you got to say? Any comments about...
Well, I know what got you riled up tonight, and I think you're perfectly right. People having children that they can't take care of. They don't think about it. They think about the pleasure. They think about the little apartment that they just bought, and they can just barely afford to get by the two of them. And then they bring a child into the world.
Right.
And you know, things get all messed up. That's why so many of them get divorced.
So
over money.
Yeah. So now I got to ask you this question. So, am I responsible to take care of them? Am I? You know, the woman and the man had sex. I did not enjoy sex with that woman. I did not enjoy it. I didn't have the pleasure of splooging in her and enjoying being on top of her. I didn't enjoy any of that. So now why do I have to attempt to support her child when she was so stupid to have that idiot guy on top of her who probably didn't even marry her, just got rid of her. She's pregnant with a baby. She's working at McDonald's. She can't make ends meet yet. The two of them decided, oh, let's have sex. Let's have a baby. And then I had the person that called up who was pissed off at me saying, you know, we're at these minimum wage jobs. And then that person said, you know what? You're holding us responsible for the condom that might not function 100%. You know what? There's multiple ways of birth control. There's condoms, there's diaphragms, there's birth control. So supposedly a condom is, I think, 94.3% effective. You know what? Double up. Do a diaphragm, do birth control, and between the birth control pill and the condom, or the diaphragm and the condom, you know what? You're going to approach 100%. You're not going to have that baby that you didn't want because you were smart enough to think, you know what? The condom might break. What's our back? Have a backup fucking plan. We went to the moon. We had a backup computer when we went to the moon. There's multiple devices in your car so that if one device fucks up, you get a backup system. How about these backup systems for idiots that just think that the condom, if it breaks, oh, you know what? It's not my fault. Let society take care of my stupidity of just relying on the 94% condom effectiveness. It didn't work. It broke. You know what? I'm in a minimum wage job. Let's let Dave and everyone else support me because I was an idiot. How about that?
Yeah, it's true, Dave. And they don't know the whole fucking human body is made up of doubles. 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, 2 balls, 2, what do you call them, ovaries, 2 tubes. You know, they don't think of that. That double up is right. You've got it right there, David.
Yep.
A condom and a pill. That's all it takes.
Okay.
And you're 100%.
Yep. Now, I do have some people commenting online. Someone says that I'm being very offensive tonight, but you know what? Someone's got to offend you guys.
I don't think so.
Someone's got to offend you
I
guys.
can hear you, you little bastard. You can get mean, David.
Yep. You
but
know,
I think right on tonight.
You know,
right on.
Yep.
I really do.
Well, thank you. You know what? You gotta be.
I don't like paying for other people's children either. I don't have any.
Right. You know, and
I've been doing it all of my life.
and people that
You know,
say,
every time my first day at work, I started supporting somebody else's child.
right now, people that are saying I'm offensive. You know what? Maybe someone ought to open up your ears. By the way, I'm sick and tired of the word being offended. By the way, I'm sick and tired of people being proudly offended. I'm sick and tired of people being so proud that they are offended and that they can then call themselves victims. You know what? If someone has to be offending to you to open up your fucking mind and your ears, you know what? Let me be the guy that offends you so that you start thinking about stuff that's not bullshit and stuff that's real. So if I'm the guy that has to offend you to wake your brain up so you start thinking, then I'm proud to offend your ass, all right? That's what I got to say about that.
Oh my God, that's not nice. But you know something? I'm the woman that will stand right beside you and give it to them too.
There we go.
Because I'm tired of it's still coming out of my retirement and my inheritance and shit that I got. Everything. It's coming out of everything they touch to support that person's child. It's not right. It's not fair. I support children, David. I don't have any children, but I do it. I give money to the orphanage. But that's my choice. I don't like the government taking money out of my income to support somebody I've never seen.
Yep. Yep.
Somebody that their mother sitting over a fat fucking ass instead of sending the child to a daycare, which the government will pay for while that woman goes to school. So it makes me sick also, David. There's no excuse.
Right. Okay, well.
It truly is not.
Yeah. Terry, you know what? I appreciate you calling. I would like to talk to you more, but for instance, I like to give a couple people more of an opportunity. I would like to give.
Okay, that's great. Cause I just want to. You had me turned it on and I couldn't hear a friggin' word you said. Shell told me to hang up and call him back.
Okay, cool.
So I did.
Okay, so
Okay, honey.
okay, cheers, and I'll talk to you soon.
Happy night.
Okay, have a good night.
Yeah.
Okay, now we concluded that. I would like to get Brian Anderson on the call here because he said my cousin is like that. She is 27 and has 4 children. I would like to also talk to Blue Tide, who says his freedom of speech is being blocked. This Dave Darren on the Dave Darren Show. You came up with an unknown phone number. I'm almost tempted to hang up on you right now, but I will let you say a couple
people
words.
smell like sweaty diarrhea farts.
There we go. They're total idiot. Now, what is the meaning of that? Now, those are people that are participating in the problems. They're not interested in solving the problem. They're not interested in having a debate with me if they disagree with me, because if she wanted the person that called up now, that female, if she had the intelligence to have a conversation with me, she would have gotten airtime to have a conversation with me. If she disagrees with me, you know what? I'm going to give her the airtime to disagree with me. If she agrees with me, I'm going to give her the airtime to agree with me. But I'm going to give her probably more time if she disagrees with me than I would if she agreed with me. I don't want people that are calling up to agree with me. I want people to call up that disagree with me. But when you call up and you start talking like a complete idiot, like you're 5 fucking years old and you should be being breastfed right now instead of calling into a show, then how about calling up and having dialogue with me instead of spewing, as she said, diarrhea on the phone line, all right? So there we go. I should not take unknown callers. All right, let's see. Anyone else got anything to say? Blue Tide says, Dave, I don't have a phone tonight. Okay, then some other future night, you're free to call in at this phone number if you'd like to. All right, what else did I was talking about level of fitness. You know what? If you are on that Dr. Now show and you happen to be 600 pounds, then you know what? How long did it take you to build up to that 600 pounds? And don't you think at this time of your life, or if you're 500 pounds or 400 pounds, don't you think it's a good time to start working out and getting yourself in better shape so you're ready for situations that can occur to you? This is Dave Darren on the Dave Darren Show. You're calling in right now. I'd like to talk to you. What do you got? Yeah. What?
Is this the Angry Boomer Show?
It is, yes. Now, before you get to the bullshit part, how about if you disagree with me because you're calling me a boomer, how about some interesting dialogue from you that you don't agree with me. Obviously, you don't. You fucking hate me. So how about we get why you don't like me before you hang up and be lame about this? Which you hung up already.
Okay.
Oh, you're still there.
The
Okay.
reason I don't like boomers
Why?
is because they act like you do, Darren.
Oh, okay. Now, how do I act? What? I'm a guy that comes to you and tells you what I feel. Why should a guy not be honest and open and tell you exactly the way I feel so you can tell me exactly the way you feel and we can create a dialogue so we try to form an understanding of each other or we walk away in complete disagreement? Why would you not come to me?
You're self-entitled. You're self-entitled. Angry
I'm
old
self-entitled.
white cuck.
By the way, I don't use the word entitled. I've never used the word entitled. In fact, if I ever say it, I stop myself and I say, you know what? I'm not entitled. I earned success. I am not entitled to a single penny from your pocket, from Terry's pocket, from Blue Tide's pocket. I'm not entitled to anything. I earn it. Why do you hate me for earning?
If it weren't for your entourage of pissy old boomer ladies, you would be nothing.
Oh, you think so? Okay, you think so. What are you doing in your life to stir up success in your life? What are you personally doing to be successful in your life? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Give me something.
Right now?
Hurry up. Tell me. You called up the show.
I can't do anything because my work was shut down because of the boomer.
Oh, so it's my fault, my generation's fault that you right now are sitting on your ass probably eating Twinkies and probably utilizing the Twinkie inside of your butthole because it's nice and slimy to fit up there. So you are blaming me for your life. You are blaming me for your...
Stop being so angry.
No,
I thought you wanted to have a real talk here.
All right, okay, so I'm going to give you a chance. Okay, so I'll let you talk and let me hear what you got to say that's intelligent, and then I'll talk with you intelligently. So go ahead. Your time to talk.
How do you expect millennials to become wealthy?
How do I expect you to become wealthy? I expect it's hard for you guys to become wealthy. I agree with that. Does that mean you give up and surrender and don't become self-sufficient to a degree, to be self-sufficient and to try to work your way up to some degree of affluency? Or do you just give up and surrender and say that it's all the boomers' fault? I can't do anything to make ends meet at all. You gave up.
No, I want to hear the Dave. Okay, so hypothetically, let's say you get, all of a sudden, you find yourself, you're a millennial right now. You're 25 years old in the year 2020. What are you going to do to get to the financial stability that you're at now?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd have to have a better work ethic than the millennials have. I don't think you guys have a work ethic at all. I don't think you have integrity.
Yeah.
I think you lack integrity. I think you lack the motivation.
You got to
to
answer my question, Dave. This isn't the insult hour. We started out on a bad place.
All right,
Okay,
so what do you do specifically to attain some degree of success? Okay, college is very tough. It's expensive. Is that your only option? Some people are not meant to go to college, so how about picking up a trade? How about a trade? Be a plumber, be an electrician?
It's tough, man. If you think about college, even in 1977, the most expensive college was Harvard, but that was only $4,000 a semester.
I was going to say that. I went to Drexel University. It was $2,800 a semester. You're right. Now it's probably $32,000, 10 times more. So now I did not say college is your solution.
It's like $90,000 now.
All right. I know someone who actually works at a coffee shop. Go ahead. I interrupted you, so go ahead. I'm giving you more time.
No, you can't expect anyone from even an average blue-collar income household to be able to afford that sort of college. So let's say you can't afford college. So what are you going to do now?
So now you're probably going to determine what you can. So I think you might pick up a trade. You might try to go into a place. Okay, you can go. By the way, I know people that work with me that are project managers. Some of them do not have college degrees, but they've spent.
Yeah, but you also need to keep in mind, Dave, that a lot of these companies that were willing to hire these people, for example, my father. The business he works for, he was able to show some, he went in there and got a great job, and now he's making great money. But nowadays, if I wanted to take that same position, I couldn't do it without at least a 4-year degree.
Specifically, I've got two 27-year-old guys who work for me specifically. They are project managers. Both of them do not have college degrees, but what they did is they went to school for 4 weeks and picked up a project management certification, went for 4 weeks, studied, took the test, failed it probably the first time, pass it the second time. They know how to project manage. No degree, and they're working for me right now making $52 an hour. They built success based upon being 27, no college degree, didn't study a trade. They went to school to learn project management, and they are working right now for me at Wells Fargo, and another one's working for them for me in Molina Healthcare in California.
Yeah, but you can't expect everyone to be able to do that.
Well, you asked
maybe we can get maybe 30,000 people to do that, but there's still a lot more that won't be able to fill those positions.
Right? Then they have other opportunities. Their opportunities are not dead end. They have other things. I gave you one scenario, one solution. There's multiple solutions out there. I'm not going to give you every single solution. There are things to be done.
So if you were a millennial, that's what you would do right now?
Well, that's what I would do. Yeah. Well, since I have the ability to be in technology and I have that mentality, despite the fact that you probably think I don't, but I've got that mentality. So that's what I would do. I would actually, to be honest with you, you're right. College is really expensive. I know one person who works at the Starbucks and went I couldn't believe he had to go to college to be a chiropractor. And he's in debt, supposedly, I can't believe this is true, he's in debt $100,000 to be a chiropractor. And how much are you going to make being a chiropractor? I don't even know. I don't think that is something that you're not a doctor.
Well, it depends on what school you have. Really, some of the better chiropractor schools, when you get a degree from them, it's much easier to become a chiropractor then. But I mean, here's the thing now: is if you're raised in a low-income household and maybe you don't do the best in high school or something like that, like you're pretty much fucked. There's no way to get the top. You're always going to be under the man. And they give these kids raises every once in a while. But I mean, most people can't really expect to make more than $12 an hour. Maybe 15 if they can get a management position. And then the cost of rent is like the cost of one paycheck. So after rent and paying for your car insurance and paying for fuel to get to work, these kids are literally stuck with like nothing. There's 2 pennies to rub together at the end of the month. And then everyone's like, oh, well, these kids aren't saving up enough, No, man, the kids are screwed over. They're screwed over because we did it to them.
So you blame yourself. You're not a millennial, obviously you're older, and you're saying that you are responsible for the failure.
Yeah, I'm not a millennial.
Okay, so you feel guilty for this situation that they're in to some degree, right? Evidently you do.
The problem is these kids need help. And no one wants to help them.
So now I don't. Okay, so now the parents are abandoning them, and they're not helping them. I don't. Is that true? Is that what you believe as well?
Parents are supposed to feed themselves. You know what I mean? The other thing is a lot of the boomer generation, the ones that are helping their kids go to college, are then putting themselves in debt for the sake of their kid getting a degree that maybe won't even get them a job.
Now, you know what?
I know plenty of people. I know plenty of people in their mid to late 20s that are in disgusting amounts of debt, and they're not even able to find a job for what they have a degree in. They're working at McDonald's flipping burgers with fucking psychology degrees, or they have art degrees and they're working at Walmart.
Well, you know what? When I went to college, I actually put in my high school yearbook that I wanted to be a recording engineer. And my folks pulled me aside and they said, it's a musical endeavor. I know you play the guitar and you enjoy that. I used to be a musician that played on stage in Philadelphia and New Jersey. They told me, they said, Dave, how about trying to be an electrical engineer like your father was? And I decided to become a mechanical engineer instead of that. But I actually considered what they said, and I thought, okay, now I better maybe take a path where I can have some degree of success. And I did. So I kind of listened to their advice of not doing it. Now, here's something else. I don't know if you're in Arizona, you're in some state. They probably had Red for Ed where you were. Did they have that? You know what that is?
No, I don't.
Okay, Red for Ed was a thing for the teachers, and they were out there wearing red, and they were protesting because they wanted their students to have smaller classrooms and better material, class books and stuff like that, so that the children could become more educated. So they were on strike. They called it the Red for Ed. They were out there protesting. And you know what I did? Here's a solution for you that no one's ever...
Teacher strikes need to happen more often, because I know for a fact because I do have some friends that are teachers that they're also not getting paid enough.
Right. I think teachers should be paid a hell of a lot more than they are. So I agree with that right off the bat. They have a tough job, and they have their job is very important because they're mentoring and teaching the children how to get to that next level of success.
Even college professors, Dave, these college are taking these hundreds of thousands of dollars from these kids, and these teachers may just be seeing chicken scratch because the entire system is run by these like upper class, hyper wealthy boomers.
All right, I'm blaming the boomers again, but okay. So let's get here's an idea I had for the Red for Ed folks. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I'm not going to be able to give you the specifics. But I took from first grade to finishing high school. What is that? That's let's see. You got 8, 9, 10, 11. You got
12th grade.
Till 12th grade. Okay, so that is a lot of people send their children to public schools. All right, so that is free school, right? And then college then becomes something that is cost ineffective. It's really expensive. So for the 4 years of college, they can't afford to send their child to college, or the child can't afford to put themselves in college if the parents have no means to put them through college. So for 4 years, it's almost college is unreachable, and if they attain it, they come out with such a huge debt that they can never forgive that debt.
Yeah.
So now that's the whole Bernie Sanders thing, right?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of places. You've got Taiwan and some other countries now where if kids show a lot of effort and expertise in a particular subject matter, they'll start letting them take college courses in their interests while they're still in high school. And then afterwards, the country pays for their college. Okay. And it's pretty much the way it works in a lot of these countries that offer free colleges. The students are given free college, and if they don't show effort, they kick them out on their ass. And they say, we're not going to give this to you for free if you're not going to put forth the effort, which is something that the United States really needs to adopt. But the problem is if you talk about that or try to push that, you get 20 million boomers saying, I'm not paying for our country to give kids free college. We worked hard for this money that we need for our yachts.
Now, how about this? I have another solution to that, and let me tell you this. And I actually had some people in this Red for Ed actually listen to me. Now, here's what the idea I had. So from first grade to 12th grade, that's 12 years, considering that a lot of people, and I think I even did a statistic on this, is that a lot of people have their first child at the age of 24 or 25 years old. So at the age of 24 or 25, your child would not be ready for first grade until like a year later or 2 years later. I forget when they go to school. But at the age of 26 years old, school for your first grade student is not going to be that expensive. It starts to ramp up. Second grade is a little more than first. Third is a little more than first and second. And it gets more expensive as it progresses. But it starts off at a lower cost. And as you get older, it gets more expensive. But that parent who started off at the age of 26 or 27 with their child in first grade, by the time they get to the more expensive years of high school, they're at their maximum earning potential at the age of 38 to 42. So what I said is, how about we flip the scenario? How about we have the parents who are at their working ages, at the younger ages when their child is at first grade to 12th grade, how about if we make that being paid for by the parents, and then we make the 4 years of college free? We flip it around the opposite way. And what that does is it allows the parent...
Yeah, but how do you propose something like that, Dave? Everyone would just get angry and accuse you of being a socialist.
Well, like I'm saying, first through 12th grade is paid for by the parents. College then becomes free, where now we have it reversed. First through 12th grade, a lot of people send their kids to public schools, which is free, and then they get to college, and then they got that boatload of money. And by the way, I took first and 12th grade. I added the cost up for those 12 years, and it actually equaled...
It's just tough. Our government can easily toss up a couple trillion to save the people of Wall Street, and we can easily spend, how much did we spend on weapons this year? Like $8 trillion or something like that? Well, Christ, we could put food in everyone's mouth and send everyone to college with that money. Mm-hmm. But instead, our government is just too focused on putting wieners in their butt and penis, take down into fucking boomer.
You know, we tried to have an intelligent conversation with the guy, and he chose to end it that way. And I would have talked to him longer because my perspective was, okay, 1st through 12th grade, where we got the parents at a younger age working up to when their child is in high school, they're at their maximum earning potential. They can afford to send the kid through school for 1st through 12th grade on their dime because they're at their working ages where they're growing their income based upon their employment to be able to support the child in school for 1st through 12th grade. The cost of 1st through 12th grade, I did a study, and actually that cost of those 12 years actually equals 4 years of college. Not at Princeton, not at those schools, but at an average university. It equals about the same. So then we take the 4 years of college, make that free. We take the 1st through 12 years, those 12 years of being at a cost that the parent pays, flipping it around to make the college free. And then you know what that's going to make? That's going to make that child, I'm going to take this call in a second, that's going to make that's going to make those parents of children that are now in college able to retire more easily at a younger age because those 4 years of college where they're trying to back down on their employment where they don't have to struggle for their more senior years in life when their working dollars are going down because they're on the bottom side of that top curve. We're making it easier for the adult parents to survive without the $100,000 of college tuition that they paid now being due. So, you know, I'm trying to give people an opportunity to talk here on the show without ending it stupidly like that guy did, who was actually bringing up, it was a good conversation until he decided to self-destruct stupidly. So why would you do that? Why would you call up, become a good caller, and then just blow up? Why would you do it? It's kind of stupid, isn't it? If you're going to have an intelligent conversation, then keep it on the intelligent level. If you're going to have a stupid conversation, then come out and be stupid right off the get-go. Let's see, anyone else? I tried calling twice. Sorry, Brian. If you'd like to call now, I'll bring you on. Brian, call now. Let me say. I'll even type in chat. Brian, sorry, call now. Sorry about that. So we're waiting here for Brian to call up. I believe he said he has a cousin who's 27 years old, has 4 children. So let's see if he says that she's in the situation for what reason, if he thinks that the situation she's in is self-induced, if he believes that the situation she is in. Let's see, we'll take the call now. This is the Dave Darren Show. Who is calling in right now?
This is Brian.
Brian, yes, I'd like to have you on the call. You mentioned your 27-year-old cousin who has 4 children. Would you like to talk about that?
Well, the problem with my cousin is he keeps putting winners in his butt. Dave Darren's a stupid boomer.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's see. Hello, this is Dave Darren on the Dave Darren Show. Who's calling in right now?
This is Brian.
Brian, this is the real Brian. By the way, you had a camouflage guy who pretended he was you, and now hopefully this is the real Brian. So what's going on in your life?
Oh, not too much. How about you?
Well, a lot. I always have a lot of stuff going on. So did you want to talk about your cousin, assuming you are the Brian that put that in chat? So if you are, tell me about your cousin who's 27 years old with 4 children. Is she in that situation because of choice, because of a mistake? What do you feel about that? Is she in this situation and, oh, well, she is, and she's expecting to be bailed out? What's going on with her?
Well, it's kind of more like she's in a position where she just wants to be bailed out by the rest of society because she didn't intend to have any of the kids, but she still ended up with 4 and didn't figure out along the way how to make better choices so that didn't happen because she couldn't afford to take care of the kids she already had.
And what happened to the guy that did this? Obviously, she didn't go to a place and get a sperm sample and input it, so obviously she slept with 4 guys. Was it the same guy, all different, or you have no idea?
It was the same guy.
Is he still with her right now?
He is, yeah. I can barely hold a job.
Okay, so now she is in a dire need, he's in a dire need, and they expect to be bailed out. If they came to you right now tonight and said, look, Brian, could you loan us $200, $300 because we can't eat? Would you do that? Would you loan them the money?
I would if I had it, honestly, even though they drive me nuts. Just because I love their kids, not so much them.
Right. Okay, so that's a bad situation because you care about one part of that family, the other part of the family have made douchebag decisions. And so, and it's funny, you said she had 4 kids. Now, I can almost understand one child of a mistake, but then the report repeated 3 other times means that this person, your cousin, I don't mind saying it, and maybe you would like me say it, there's a person who's an idiot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she's got a father, a guy that's probably not her husband. I'm sure they're not married. Am I correct? They're probably not married.
Yeah, they're not married.
There we go.
Right on the head.
They're not married, and I didn't want to stereotype that, but there I did. I just said they're probably not married because the guy probably wants to have his freedom to escape after some certain point. But there we got a woman who's made stupid choices, never ever corrected her choices, kept going on with the bad choices she's made, and now is expected to be bailed out by the government or you or me or a collective amount of people to support the nice children that she's got, using them as a guilt, almost as a guilt thing, because now you feel guilty because you like the 4 kids, you don't like them. So now you're in a position of wanting to help them, but they didn't want to help themselves.
Yeah.
Really bad, really bad. Obviously, this is a situation that's not isolated to your cousin. It's a situation that is going across the country, probably across the planet. And did you ever have a conversation with her about how could you have 4, when she had the second one, and you probably knew that the first one was a mistake. Did you know that the first one was a mistake? Did you happen to know that?
I did, yeah, because she actually lives in the same house with her dad, because this was like when I was growing up when she had the first kid. But she had the first kid, and I knew that it was a mistake because her dad was yelling at her, why are you having a kid? You can't even take care of it. You don't have a job.
Right. And then she went and had a second child. Did you have then what did the father say? She probably kicked her out of the house at that point, and then she had a second child, and then what? Did she move back in with her parents? What happened then? What?
She still actually lives with him, and has the entire time she's had the 4 kids.
The entire time she's had the 4 kids, she's been living with her parents, making her parents take care of the 4 children, and probably that guy is living there periodically. He's probably not even living there all the time, right? This is her boyfriend.
He is living there all the time.
Oh, my, even
I have no
worse.
idea how they haven't broken up, though, because I have a few times.
Right. Yep. It's a bad scenario. It's a ridiculous scenario of people that do not take responsibility for themselves and will not take responsibility for themselves and haven't identified that they should take responsibility for themselves. Yet, they take the responsibility to take those responsibilities and giving it to somebody else, me, you, and society. They're perfectly comfortable assigning that responsibility to somebody else, and they expect it, right?
Oh, yeah. They
unbelievable.
definitely do at this point.
Yep, unbelievable.
They got, like, Medicaid for free, and then they always get WIC when they have their new kid. And
yep.
If it's not that, they always have, like, more money in food stamps because they have dependents.
Yep. What a way to live. What a way to live. And we let them live like that as well. And now,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's a bunch of people that do not take personal responsibility for their situation. They don't plan. They don't have goals. You said she's not even working. She's not even working at a minimum wage job. She's just not working at all, correct?
Yeah, not working at all. She hasn't worked since she was like 18.
Yeah. Now, funny people, the previous heckler that called up said, I can't survive on minimum wage. But you know what? At least if she worked for minimum wage, she would have at least a work ethic to some degree. And even if you're working at minimum wage, I still think you would get benefits to some degree. So it would be slightly better, perhaps.
You would think. My family has never been really that smart with money. I did the math once, and they run through about $750 a month just on cigarettes.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is unreal.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is a situation that I believe is replicated a lot across the country. They put value in cigarettes to the tune of, how much was it? $750 a month, right?
Yeah, and then about a $400 in pop, and then God knows how much they spend on weed since it's Colorado.
Right. Oh, my, unbelievable. So, you know what? I said that the two guys that work for me, 27-year-old guys, spent $4,000 to go and get project management certified so I can hire them and send them on jobs where they're making $52 an hour. I think I'm wrong. I think they're making $55 an hour. So these people who are spending $750 a month on stupid shit that's going to give them cancer probably, and give the secondhand cancer to anyone else, maybe even their children if they're smoking in the house. So they're giving their kids second-degree cancer. They're getting cancer by smoking cigarettes. Spending $750 a month. If they take that 1 month, they could go to 1 week worth of project management school. Not that they're intelligent enough even to do that, but they could take that money and spend it for a trade. Home HVAC, learning how to repair air conditioners, learning how to fix cars, doing something in the trade, and they've got the money. They've got the money to do it. They've got $750 a month. They've got the money to do it, but they don't have the intelligence or the goal or the motivation to do it. They do have the goal and the motivation to stick their hand in my pocket or your pocket or society's pocket to get them out of that trench and that hole that they dug on their own, and we're supposed to feel really sorry for them.
Yeah, I had a friend, though, like, after we saw enough people like that, we just started, like, thinking we shouldn't feel sorry for those kind of people if they did it to themselves.
Yep. Yeah. And then, yet, if we start feeling sorry for those people to the degree that we decide, okay, tough love, we're going to get rid of them, they're going to have to survive on their own, then people like you or me that say that, people think that we're cruel, we lack compassion, we are the dredge of society. We are scumbags because we said enough is enough. So we become the criminals of that attitude.
I think part of that has to do with people don't really understand boundaries anymore.
And, you know, it dawns on me that why they don't understand boundaries. You know, I remember when I went, even though it was a long time ago, I remember when I went to elementary school and high school, they didn't teach you anything about survival. Nothing at all. We didn't learn how to balance a checkbook. Now we don't use checkbooks anymore. We use spreadsheets and online banking systems. Back then we didn't learn how to balance a checkbook. We didn't learn anything at all to deal with life. We read Charles Dickens. We read the Greek mythology. We read Shakespeare. All of that stuff it's a good foundation, and we should not throw away the classics. But for Christ's sakes, we got to learn how to do things that are important to our survival. Yet, and I don't know if it's taught differently now, but I got to say, when I was a student, none of that shit made any sense to me, and I hated high school. I thought it was irrelevant. I thought it had no meaning whatsoever. I thought it was almost a fucking waste of time, because I didn't learn anything of basic survivals. I was delivering newspapers when I was an elementary school student. I knew how to collect money. I knew how much money I was making as profit for selling a newspaper. I had all that mathematics in my head. A lot of other people were so stupid they didn't know anything, and they're not being taught it. So it's a failure of our educational system on top of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brian, I got to thank you for calling. We have another caller. Maybe I'll take one other caller, and then I'm going to call it quits for tonight. But, Brian, I appreciate you calling. By the way, I appreciate the fact that you supported my music show. It's coming back on 4/29. That's April 29th. Hopefully we'll be part of that, listening to the show. Maybe even share some musicians on the show so I can have them on, okay?
Okay, well.
Oh, did I lose you?
Okay, I'll make sure to do that.
Okay, cool, Brian. Thanks a lot for the call. Cheers.
Okay, bye.
Okay, someone else did call, so if you'd like to call back, now's the time to do it. But while you're calling back, since we have a little gap here in the conversation, let's see if I can find a commercial or a piece of music that I'll play. And then hopefully we'll get one more caller, and then I am going to call it quits for the evening. You know what? I'll play something politically incorrect. I'm going to play Weird Al Yankovic. Song is called 9 Coronas. I shouldn't play this, but I'm going to play it.
9 Coronas, girl, look good to me. good to me. She looked like Pamela Lee after 9 Coronas. I began to kiss her, undid her zipper. She looked like Claudia Schiffer after 9 Coronas. When I met her at the bar, she said she was like Baywatch. When she got into my car, she looked a lot like Sasquatch. Bow, wow, 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 wow. 9 Coronas. She kinda looked like Mr. Spock.
Live long and prosperous.
But she was Courtney Cox after 9 Coronas. We were hot with passion. We were matching cause she looked like Jennifer Aniston after 9 Coronas. Late into the night, I rode her like a Harley in the soft candlelight. She looked like Chris Farley. Bow, wow, 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 wow. 9 Coronas. She was fat and stinky and kinda sticky, but she looked like Christy Brinkley after 9 Coronas. She looked like Pee Wee Herman.
That's my name, don't wear it out.
But she was Uma Thurman after 9 Coronas. In our 23rd position, I think I got whiplash. She was really vicious, except for her mustache. Bow, wow, 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 wow. She was bigger than a Winnebago, a way to go. She looked like Lisa Kudrow after 9 Corona. She was no Cindy Crawford. Cindy Crawford, nothing rhymes with Cindy Crawford after 9 Corona. Open up another bottle, I started drinking more beer so I could wake up next to Heather Locklear. Yeah, 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 yeah. 9 Coronas. 9 Coronas. 9 Coronas.
Sorry, guys, I didn't think Weird Al Yankovic was finished talking, and I probably am too for this evening. I've stepped away so I can take the rings off of my fingers and get ready for some downtime this evening, which I think I'm entitled to. So it'll be interesting to see how many people have unfriended me, how many people have blocked me, how many people have ditched themselves from the Dave Darren group page. Be interesting to see if I had that effect on anyone tonight. I'm sure I did, because some people do not like the conversation of reality put into their face onto their computer screens and heard by someone that they now completely dislike. So that's all I've got for tonight. I am going to do a closing show, and that's it. If you guys tolerated me, that's a shock. See you guys later on some other night, maybe even tomorrow night. Who knows? Cheers, guys.
oxygen is raining. Blood that runs through me races so rapidly. Tense my aggression.
Which tell me I could justify. You're holding life from me. You turn everything I need. You want everything but